Let's tie some jigs here. Let's kill that light. Kill the light behind us. Okay, let's see what we're gonna tie here. We already got this jig head in here, but I wanted to tie let's tie some of these. Look at that profile. Pretty interesting. Let's do it. Let's... Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Need to put some soap on that spool. Go away. Got a thumbs up and no viewer. Put a little bit of super glue on there. All right, we're gonna start out with some yellow. Let's see. We got some yellow feathers. That's a pretty nice feather, pretty decent. Pretty decent feather. Mimi, I'm live on YouTube.
What?
I'm live on YouTube.
You're live on YouTube?
Yeah.
I can hear you, Mimi.
What's up?
So you're on that video now?
Yeah, that's where we were going with that. They can hear you, Mimi. Whoa. Here's the trick to this right here, this specific type of jig. What's up, everybody? This is how you make the belly on there. You tie in this piece of chenille first, and then let's get kind of a little bit more organized over here. We're gonna go with this blue.
Alright.
We're gonna strip off a little bit because we're gonna make a few of these. What's up from Indian? From Indiana, India? I like to not rely on the thread too much. That super glue, these jigs are, I'll just bring one up here and show you. These jig heads that I buy, they straighten out real easy. You can straighten them out. If you got a good knot, you can straighten it out with 6-pound test line. And so you can get it off of most snags. But in doing so, sometimes you'll tear up a jig. But if you use enough super glue, you won't tear up your jig. And then this ain't the final wrap, but I still like to, when I'm tying this style of jig, I still like to throw a few knots in there. Crap. Well, now we need a lighter. We'll try to clean it up with scissors so I don't have to go get a lighter, because I don't have one with me. Let's see if that cleaned up enough. Yep, that'll do. Okay, then what we're gonna do is bring this fur, you bring this chenille back over the top. And you gotta make sure you hold it in the center. Get it centered up the way you want it before you get more than one wrap on it. Back under, back over, back under, and then back over one more time. We're going to come in at an angle, and we're going to cut it out right there. Try to get some more of these threads off. Now we'll tie some more knots in it, and then we'll hit it with the super glue one more time. I don't really like this kind of super glue. I'm just using it. It's nail glue. I'm using it because it's what I have. But I really like the brush-on style glue better. This glue takes too long to dry because you put it on, it just kind of pours out. So I don't really like it that much. But that's all we got for now, so it's what we're gonna work with. What's up, Butler Outdoors? Just tying some jigs. We got that belly profile going. There was another style I wanted to show you guys. I can't remember it right off the top of my head. And I tied it and I put it in this box. And I am just having a heck of a time finding out what I did with that jig. I thought I put it in this box. I could have put it in another box. Let me check real quick. Okay, that's what happened to it. I remember now. We got to rebuild it. I left it in the vise and the cat freaking chewed up this back part off there. Okay. But now we got the profile of that particular jig so we can make it again. But for now, we're just going to keep making these little chartreuse guys. We're gonna make one more of these, and then I got another idea. I need to make my boss some jigs. He only fishes with one color, or two colors, but they're on the same jig. He only fishes with chartreuse and black. He is a big fan of chartreuse and black crappie jigs. That's pretty much all he fishes with. But we're gonna see if we can't give him something to broaden his horizons a little bit. So we're gonna try that. We're gonna try to broaden his horizons. We're gonna make a black and chartreuse style jig, but we're gonna make it with this belly on it. We'll get there. We'll see. We'll be there quick enough. I'm gonna add some more feathers to that. It's not quite enough for my liking. I like a lot of feathers on there. I see some jigs that they put online, on Facebook especially, and they barely have any hair or feather. They barely have any bucktail or feather on there. And when they get wet, they'll clump up anyway, so I don't know why they. Like these feathers will all clump up, and it'll go pretty much have the same profile as a Bobby Garland. You know, with the straight tail. And so I don't really understand why they don't put very much feathers on there. See, like this, once it gets wet, that tail goes straight like that. But the feathers have a lot more movement up and down. They'll still clump together, but they have a lot more movement up and down when you're pulling the jig up and down through the water column than a bucktail. And I feel like they have more movement with less. You don't have to put as much effort into making a feather jig dance. Like just the dock going up and down is good enough to make it move. So I feel like feather jigs are a really good option especially for people that like to vertical jig. So, what's up? What kind of flies are you making? He's making jigs. Yeah, I'm making some crappie jigs. A pretty unique style. You'll see after I'm done tying this one up. The way that I do it, it gives them a belly. And if you look up a northeast mosquito fish, which is a minnow that crappie feed on heavily, they have a rounded out belly. They got a big eyes on them. And so I feel like this jig pretty well imitates them. Especially the color we're about to tie next. They're a northeast mosquito fish is from the guppy family. So I feel like this works out pretty well. It mimics it pretty well. Fun fact, they're the only fish in the state of Oklahoma that gives live birth to. See, now when I take this piece right here that I tied in first before I tied in the blue, I tie the feathers on, then I tie this piece on. Then when you pull this back over, there's your jig head. You're gonna come up around this, make sure you got it where you want it before you pull it tight on the first one, because it kind of sets it where it's gonna be at. Go ahead and go around it twice, move it like that, come on this side of it, and just do that a couple times, interchanging back and forth, kind of weaving this piece in, because that's all that's holding it in there, at least until you super glue it. When you nip that, you see how it gives that jig a belly? Okay, and then if you look at, like this jig, it has no belly. There's no belly on it, and then this one has a belly. I kind of like that profile better. You know what's happening with these knots is that that super glue is just too much. That's why my knots aren't wanting to tie. And then if you want to, they'll get little fuzzies around the eye of the jig. And I don't have a lighter with me right now, so I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to explain it to you guys anyway, just in case someone has an interest in doing this. You take your jig and you hold it like right here, and then you have this head exposed, and then all those little furs that are around the eye, you light the lighter on either side and it'll burn those hairs back. But make sure you put your fingers over the body of the jig, so that way you don't singe the body of the jig. And then we'll put a little dot of super glue on here just for good measure. In the middle of this chenille, I'll show you guys in a second, there's only 2 threads in the middle of it. So let me get it busted down. So where I tied that at the neck, like on a regular crappie jig, you don't really have to super glue it. but it does keep them from falling apart. And then these two threads, when you're tying on the belly of the jig and you come back up through here, the only thing holding it on is right at the base of the head. And so I just feel like that super glue's cheap insurance that your belly isn't going to come out on you after a couple casts. No, what did I say we were going to tie? We're going to tie, we'll tie one more of these. I don't even know what to call this jig yet. The jig heads we're using, if anyone's curious, it's Bombite jig heads, and they are, I don't remember what weight, and it's not labeled on there, so, but we're using jig heads. Yeah, you could put some between the belly. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I usually like to, they're Bombite jig heads. I usually like the super glue that you brush on. Like I said, I borrowed this nail glue from my daughter. I don't really like using nail glue because it kind of just pours out. And so I'm trying to, if I was using the other glue, the brush on glue, it goes on so much thinner and it dries so much faster. Lay it over. They're thin this way, so they'll cut through the water pretty good. They also kind of fit the profile of this jig too. You see it's thick this way and it's thin that way, so I guess the theory there would be it would sink faster. I don't know. I could show you guys another trick that I've been doing. I don't know if I showed you guys yet on the channel or not. There's another method that I've been using for making small jigs heavier, so that way they get down faster, but you can still keep that small profile. And that's, I've been tying this, I've been wrapping this lead line around the shank of the hook before I start tying the jig. And so I can get my 64th ounce, these ones are, yeah, 1/64th ounce jig heads. They're super small, and when it's really cold or the high pressure or whatever, I like to use this 64th ounce jig head, and I put that lead line up the shank of the hook, so I keep the small bait profile, but it gets down in the water column a lot faster. I make quite a few of those. Let's see if I got some. You can't tell that the lead's even on there. See, I'm looking at this one and I'm trying to determine whether it's one or not. Here's another one of these bellied out baits. I think it looks better with the Bombite jig heads, but I'm about to go to Costa Rica, and when I get back, I'm going in like 10 days or something, I don't know, for a week. And when I get back, I'm gonna buy some eyes so I can start putting eyes on yeah, I hate this glue. It just kind of pours out and then it doesn't really go nowhere. We'll let it set up for a minute. Anyway, what were we talking about? I'm gonna buy some eyes when I get back so I can start putting them on the round jig heads. Putting eyes on the different ones. I probably won't put eyes on like gold jig heads, but like the lighter colored jig heads, the yellow and the orange, white, pink. I would like to have eyes on my jigs, and so I don't want to pay more for jigs for someone else to put eyes on them, because the jig heads that I buy, they all work good. The other Timera, however you pronounce that, that's the other brand of jigs I use. I like them pretty good. I've got probably 10 packs of them. I like these Dove Sun jig heads too. They're pretty damn nice. These are the heaviest jig heads that I got, and I think they're 132, 32nd. But they're pretty damn nice jig heads. How's everybody's day been going so far? Mike Outdoors, how are you? I've been doing good. Tired from working. Happy that the holidays are over with. I always have fun on the holidays, but I'm always ready for them to go away too. Old Walmart, they're freaking amped up. Heck, we just barely got Christmas over. I don't even think we actually had Christmas yet. And like a day before Christmas, or maybe your phone's ringing. But anyway, I was what do I work for? I'm
Sorry.
I work for a Technotherm. I'm a contract welder. Crap.
Sorry, that's you.
No.
Okay, listen. I'm taking her down there. I'm gonna make a smoothie with her,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna set her down in front of the TV,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna go to my house for a bit,
Okay.
and I'm just letting you know that she'll be fine. I told her don't mess with Grandma. And she's fine with that.
Or Carly. Does
Huh?
Carly have basketball today?
She said it tomorrow.
Okay.
If she does try, I'll tell her not to.
She won't try. I mean,
Well, she does, I'll tell her not to.
why don't you guys just quit trying to be the boss of each other?
Yeah.
She was being rude first.
Well, when she says something, when you say something and she says something, you disagree. You don't have to scream in each other's face.
Actually, siblings, they do.
Hmm?
They're siblings, they do. They shouldn't, but
Get the sweatshirt on. Should say that to school tomorrow, probably.
What?
The sweatshirt.
No,
Here, put this sweatshirt on.
I want my baggie.
And if you don't listen to me.
Maybe you missed another block.
I did. Go put it in there so we don't lose it. Put it in the bag.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
you need to put on a shirt, Cambry.
I am.
All right, you little
That
weirdo.
ribbit. Sure.
Oh. Lord, mercy, Jesus. Can't reach the Lord now. Now, what do we do
I hope
now?
somebody uses. What kinds of metals do I
I
weld?
need to wash my hands.
Right now, I'm welding 2 1/4 chrome with no purge, which is non-typical. That's not very much fun. I'm welding on a superheater. I don't know if you know what an economizer is or not, but it's essentially a box that they build, and then it'll have a tube sheet in it. And so the tubes will be going all through there, and they'll just be in rows. Like if you ever looked inside of an AC unit, like one of the window units, you know how they got like the coil or the reefer in it will have all the copper tubes going through there, and then they'll have like 180 returns connecting all the tubes together. Essentially, I'm welding those on, except for it's a supersized version. But I weld stainless steel, chrome, carbon, duplex. Probably if you can name it, I probably welded it. Aluminum. Junk steel.
Bye.
Mimi, you can. He always lets me go.
Because she's a weirdo.
Put this goddamn on and let it go.
I just came here to do that.
Oh, you're so cute. You might not mean
You don't need to forget the strawberry.
Here, babe.
Don't forget the strawberry.
What else goes in the smoothie?
There's blueberries in the freezer.
Blueberry, yeah.
No blueberries.
No,
She wants strawberries.
There might be frozen strawberries in
there
there.
is. We're just covered with your ice bag, Mimi.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh. It's hard, Mimi.
Anyway.
Turn.
It's not.
No, it's not. Trying to carry it out of the way. That's better without a hood.
Came out looking pretty good.
Okay, now go get your strawberries.
And we got a handful of those. Let's throw those in the...
Buy you some shoes.
I don't want to do that.
You're not going barefoot.
We're going to throw those in this box.
Mimi, I need
And we'll
help.
progress on to the next style of jig.
I just told you that your bag of ice was on top of it.
Cambry, shut up.
No.
Yeah, before I whoop your ass. How about that? All right, we need some black jig heads. I think I got some somewhere. I don't really remember where they are.
I'm not doing this. You know how much you do what you need to do and put it in.
These are kind of a charcoal gray, but we might...
Okay, what are they?
I just lost one on the floor.
No, under the.
That ain't good.
Right here. Oh.
There it is. Anyway. These are kind of like a charcoal gray. I don't know how it's going to show up on camera. But anyway, trying to find some black jig heads. I got a bunch of them. I just don't know where.
Bye-bye.
These are all chartreuse.
Right here.
Here's two right here. Since we're giving them to my boss, I guess there's not really a set number, but I don't like to really give people less than 4 jigs if I'm going to give them jigs to try out. What kind of work do you do, Benjamin Brock?
I tried to cut me.
There's 3 in there. 3 you'll have to do. Quit, weirdo.
Oh, my bubble. Oh, that's your bubble.
Okay.
You might come take one there in a
You
bit.
get the key.
Okay.
Okay, move over.
Let's see, we're going to switch to black thread.
You shut the door. Oh, it feels hot outside.
Yeah, you're full of it.
So hot
Don't feel too
outside.
bad right now, guys.
She's saying it feels hot outside. It's freaking like, I don't know, I think it's like 23 degrees today or something. It's not very warm. Let's see. Oh, okay. School full time. Yeah, if you ever decide to do welding, aim to be a contract welder. Piece rate, you get paid by the piece, obviously, and I get paid the same as field hands, which I know because I work out in the field too sometimes. The contracts don't last forever. And so if you get pretty good in a couple years, though, a couple years of welding, then you can usually stay pretty busy as a contract welder. And when there's nothing to contract weld, then I go work out in the field. But getting paid piece rate is a lot better than working out in the field or working in a shop by the hour. The guys in the shops, they'll have to work 10 and 12-hour days. And, you know, at a good paying shop, they're making $30 an hour. And I make more than they do, and I only work about 7 hours a day. And I'm not trying to brag or nothing. I'm just trying to tell you that contract welding and welding 1099 is a better way to go about it. You get more. You don't get insurance, so you have to get your own insurance. But I make more money in less time. And so I get to enjoy more of my life instead of being married to the job. But when I go to work, all the other guys will be standing around talking and bullshitting. And contract welders, we don't really get to do that because we are there to get paid to do a job. And so we have, you know, we get paid every week, but we get paid by the piece. And so we get paid for how many ever welds we do for that day. So we get paid by the piece. And so if you go in there and you talk and then talk about race cars and football and wrestling or whatever you're into, then you don't make as much money, and then you have to be there longer. And you could come in and work for 7 hours with a 30-minute lunch added into that 7 hours. And you could go home and you can make more than the guys that's working 10 and 12 hours. But you have to be responsible. Butler Outdoors. Yeah, my wife's cousin is a painter, and he does pretty good. There's a lot of painters that paint our boilers and stuff like that at some of the shops that I work at. I think they all get paid pretty good. I think painters make out like bandits. They all seem to like what they're doing. Yeah, Benjamin Brock, welding is pretty cool. I weld mostly TIG and stick. I'm a combo certified in Oklahoma. It's the only state that you have to have a steam card in, which is just some extra way for the state to take some of your money. But anyhow, TIG is my favorite. That's mostly what I do. Welding tubes and pipe and stuff like that. TIG is just superior. I like MIG around the house. I run a lot of MIG around the house. Anything I weld pretty much around the house, I try to run it with MIG because it's not the end of the world at my house, you know. What's up, Jason DeBoer? Love you too, bro. Let's see. My boss, he only fishes with black and chartreuse, so we're going to try to stick with the little theme here for him. I don't know if this is going to be enough black on there for him, but we're going to try it. Let's see. I tied a big bucktail the other day, a big bucktail jig. I'm going to take it to Costa Rica with me. I'm going to try to catch some tuna, some dorado, and rooster fish with Oklahoma hand ties. I'll show you guys what that looks like real quick. Miss you too, bro. Just working and tying jigs and getting ready to go to Costa Rica for a week. This is a jig I'm going to take to Costa Rica with me. And I tied it just like a crappie jig. Most bucktail jigs, they don't have this chenille, this body. Most of the bucktails, they just run straight for the entire, for the body of the hook and everything. But I went ahead and added that chenille on there. And I think that this is going to be freaking killer in Costa Rica. We're going to figure it out here pretty quick. Jason, wait a minute. I want to show you another jig. See if I can find this jig I wanted to show you. Right here. These jigs are what we've been tying so far. Brennan Marquise, what's up? These are the jigs we were tying a minute ago. And I've been putting this belly on the bottom side. There's some pretty badass jigs. I can't wait to get to try those ones out. But right now I'm tying some up for my boss. He likes just black and chartreuse. So we're going to try and belly him out with chartreuse. And just give him a black body and see what we think. A chartreuse tail. So I still have a little bit of black in them, but I don't know. I'd run it. Looks pretty good. What am I trying to catch in Costa Rica? Rooster fish, tuna, and dorado. And I'm going in it's the sport fishing capital of the world. And I have a charter rented to go fishing. Now the cool thing is that I'm going at such a time of year that you can just catch their major species of fish from the land. And so I'm going to be there for a week. And I'm going on like a 4-wheeler ride through the mountains that's guided. It's like 15 miles or something. I'm riding a 4-wheeler through the woods. So you get to see like monkeys and sloths, and there's like sections of the river you ride the 4-wheeler through and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm going to spend the entire day out on a 30-foot boat, deep sea fishing, with one of the best guards in Capos, or Quapos, or Capo. I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway, we did our research and been looking into it for a while, and we already got them all paid and everything, and got an Airbnb, rental car, all that stuff. And so I'm going to be there for a week. Me and the wife are going to be fishing, exploring. There's like restaurants down there. You go catch fish and with your guide or whatever, or you go catch fish yourself on the beach, and then you pay so much or whatever, you go to a restaurant and they'll cook it for you. And so I think that'd be pretty cool to do too. So I'm pretty excited about it. I might have to take some of these down there on the ultralight and see what I can catch catch out of the ocean too, just because. That's what I did on the last one. See, I thought I'd already tied one of these jigs, but on this one I had a little piece of black in the tail. And I think that looks a lot better than just this white, just the yellow. There's a side profile. You see a little black strip? I think that makes that jig look so much better. Trying to figure out something to tie with this navy blue. I got it out. It's been on my mind a lot lately because I've got a lot of it. But I don't ever tie nothing with that color, and I don't know why. These orange feathers, I probably burn through this and the yellow and the white the most. That's the feathers I burn through the most. I got green, black, blue, navy blue, dark pink, light pink. I mean, we got feathers for days. Trying to figure out stuff. You might catch a speckled trout with that. That'd be freaking cool, man. It'd be pretty sick to go somewhere else and bring my own stuff and catch fish with it. Stuff that I tied here in Oklahoma. So far, I've caught quite a few crappie on my own jigs. I've caught bass. I've caught white perch, which are invasive to Oklahoma. I knew that they were in the Arkansas River system, and but I didn't think they were in there like they are. Apparently, I heard about them being in there about 4 years ago, and Keystone Lake is a pretty good sized lake. Anyway, where I'm going with that is I had no idea how invasive they were or how fast they could take over a water system. And dude, I'm not kidding you. It was this summer I was at a bridge called Veteran Bridge. And they were one cast after another on green and chartreuse jigs. I was even catching them 2 at a time. I had 2 jigs tied on. I was catching 2 at a time underneath the bridge, and it was pretty cool, man. It was the first time I caught them. So it was a pretty neat experience. They kind of like a sand bass. If you get a bait in front of their face, they'll probably eat it. The next day, I took my boat underneath that bridge, and I was fishing with night crawlers. And I was fishing along the rocks, just floating a jig and bobber by with a night crawler on it. And I was catching the crap out of them on the night crawlers too. So they're pretty fun fish. The good news is, though, is that all the lakes in like North Carolina and South Carolina, the Tennessee River system, most of those places that grow trophy catfish and trophy stripers. Yes, I'm going to do a video in Costa Rica. Most of the lakes that have big trophy catfish in abundance, white perch are native to their river systems, and the way that they have invaded in Keystone Lake and the Arkansas River system, I want to say that's going to, everybody's kind of a little bit worried about it or whatever. But they already live in a bunch of lakes that are really great and that aren't in Oklahoma. And all their lakes are thriving with giant stripers, giant catfish in abundance. People are all the time catching new world records in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee River system, Alabama, the Mississippi River. All these places that I've mentioned already have those white perch in there. And so I'm not really sure that they're going to negatively impact the growth of fish in Oklahoma. I believe it will have a positive impact on the fishing in Oklahoma. It may hurt it'll give the smaller bass and smaller fish more competition for the shad that are out there. But like I said, it hasn't affected North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee River. Matter of fact, it hasn't affected anything from North Carolina all the way north and all the way south of there, all the way over to Arkansas. It hasn't affected anything in a negative impact. It's only provided more food. They spawn a lot, and they get pretty big, and so it offers a bigger meal, more abundantly, bigger meals more consistently for catfish and bass and stripers. And so I honestly feel like in the years to come, because of the white perch migration moving up here, I feel like that they are going to increase the size. 7 pounds. I'm no Milliken fishing. I should be going down to Texas to try to catch some big bass. Me and my wife will have to talk about that someday. We might have to do that. I'd like to go down there when they're about to spawn down to Texas and go hit some of them 10-pounders out of the golf course. They all the time down there whacking some giants at golf courses and stuff. I think it'd be pretty cool. Take a big glide bait down there and just one of the ones that are like suspending, so that way you could like pause it right over the top of the bass's nest. Really tick them off. Another one down. Let's see. We got one more black hook to go. I'm gonna figure out something to do with that navy blue. I'm also gonna have to order some more jigs so I can get some. I need some spring's about to be here. I need some like 16th and 8th ounce jig heads. But we'll do all that when we get back from Costa Rica. I just ordered probably about $150 worth of tackle. I ordered some matter of fact, we were just talking about them, suspending glide baits. I just ordered 3 giant glide baits, a bunch of bucktails, or about 5 or 6 bucktails. I don't remember how many was in the pack. What else did I order? Bucktails. Oh, some big topwater poppers, like a hula popper, but they're giant for fishing in the ocean. I ordered 500 yards of Power Pro line, 30-pound test. I still got to get my 30-pound test fluorocarbon leaders. And if I can squeeze it out, I might go buy a new fishing pole before I go to Costa Rica. I'd like to get another, like a pin Prevail, if you know what that is. I hope they still make them. But I used to have one that was 9 foot long, and it was a 2-piece. And I know people will bash a 2-piece surf rod, but that pin Prevail was sick. And I could sling a giant bait. And down there fishing the surf, I'm going to want something that I can get out there and get past the rakers. And that 9-foot pin Prevail rod it's pretty money. You know, my tube for carrying rods, I think it goes to like 8 feet or 8.5 foot. It might go bigger than that, but I really don't want to be carrying anything bigger than that through the airport. When you're carrying your fishing rods, they come in you buy this pipe and it telescopes on the bottom and it telescopes on the top. Okay, I want to say it's 9 feet is what it is. Because I think each section is 3 foot, and then it has different, like where you can slide it together, and then you can pin it off to make it smaller or bigger. But when you're going through the airport, it already looks like you're carrying a bazooka, and so everybody's already looking at you funny. So it's, I really don't want to make it any bigger than I have to have it to go through the airport. And a fun fact for you: if you ever travel with fishing poles, and you carry them on there, they are gonna lose them. But the cool thing about that is that the airlines, when you check baggage, your checked luggage is guaranteed. And so you show up somewhere, like I went to North Carolina, they lost my stuff, and so I went and bought new fishing poles because I was going fishing immediately when I got there. But they had lost my fishing poles, so I had to go buy a bunch of stuff. And I went and bought some rather expensive stuff. I didn't know that they were going to pay for it at the time, which I'm glad they should. That should be the deal. But I had no idea that they were going to have to pay for it. I just figured if I'm going to buy some new fishing equipment, it needs to be as good or better than the fishing equipment that they lost. Because inevitably I'm replacing everything they lost. But as it turns out, if they lose it, they have to buy it. And so everything that I went and bought, tackle, bait, new line, new fishing poles, new reels, they had to pay for every penny of it. And then they still had to give me my fishing poles back, which they didn't try to put up no hassle on that. They literally drove and delivered them to me. What's up, Icy Gaming? And they delivered my fishing poles to me, to my Airbnb. And then plus paid for all my new equipment. So it was pretty cool. And but like I was saying, and that's the second time that my equipment's been lost, but I didn't know that the first time. The first time that they lost it, I hung out, and I wasn't leaving until they found it. I was in Las Vegas going to go fishing at Lake Mead, and I literally wasn't going to leave until they found my fishing tackle, or my fishing poles, and then they did. And so I went on about my way, but had I known that they would just buy me all new gear, I would have left it there and waited for them to deliver it to my room that time. Moral of the story is anytime you go on an airplane, even if you're not going fishing at your destination, make sure that you bring fishing equipment. It's only $80 for checked baggage. And I know that sounds expensive, but if you have any amount of fishing poles, they're already expensive anyway. And eventually they will find your stuff and bring it to you. In the meantime, they will buy you all new gear to use. And then you get to keep that gear when it's all said and done. Currency in over there, and it's kind of weird over in Costa Rica. They're always talking like $250,000. I forget what they call their currency there, but they're always talking like $250,000 this and 25,000 that, and I think like, I don't know. I think like $10 is like 25,000 of their money or something like that. But I don't know why they would make their money seem like it has so much less value. If that makes sense. I don't know if it does or not, but if you say something, if you like a bowl of soup, if you say it's 25 thousand. We're gonna call it dollars because I don't remember what they call their money. But say it's $25,000, you just made your soup sound really expensive, or you got to count to a really high number instead of just keeping it simple and being like $2.50. Now you're counting out $25,000 in coins or whatever. Colones, that's what they call it. So it'd be like 25,000 colones for a meal, but it's really only like $4 or $5. And that's why you need a wife, because you never know when you're gonna have to use some random weird money that you don't really understand. Guys, I'm out of here. It's cool talking with you guys. Can't wait to see you guys in Costa Rica. Brennan Marquise, thank you. Anyway, I'm out, y'all. Have a good one.